Interphase Video presents Fairfield Today. Brought to you by Fairfield Federal Savings and Loan, Fairfield Medical Center, Fairhope Hospice and Palliative Care, the Fairfield County Board of Developmental Disabilities, Dagger Law, and the Frank E. Smith Funeral Home.
Welcome to Fairfield Today at Fairhope Hospice and Palliative Care. My name is Kim Shook, Community Education Coordinator here at Fairhope Hospice and Palliative Care, and I'm your new host for our show here at Fairfield Today at Fairhope Hospice. So today's guest I have with me today is Kristin Glazier, and she is our new CEO, and we are just proud to have her on board in this new position. Welcome, Kristin.
Thank you. Hello. Thank you, Kim.
So we're going to talk today about Kristin's duties and her role that she's going to play with being the CEO at Fairhope Hospice. We've got some new positions new things taking place here at Fairhope, and we just are so thrilled that our mission is being accomplished, and we are moving forward here with Kristin Glazier. So welcome.
Thank you, Kim. So today, as you can see, Rick Schneider is not here with us today, so we are going to try to make him proud and carry on this show. As Kim said, my name is Kristin Glazier, and I am currently the new CEO here at Fairhope. And I am so privileged and honored to have been asked to step into this role and really just try to move forward. And, you know, Denise has built something so strong and wonderful here with her team, and I'm just very honored and privileged to kind of step in and continue with that and just help us serve the community and grow and make some really, great changes here. And
just tell us about what you're passionate about, of how you got your start here at Fairhope and your longevity of being with us. It's just amazing, your story.
Okay. Well, it's kind of interesting, and I think I'll work backwards and tell you my story backwards. So, as I told you, Monday was my first day as CEO here. I came back to Fairhope Hospice, about 5 years ago, and 2.5 years ago, the board and Denise, and we asked an agency to come in and kind of help us look for and create succession plans for all of our directors. You know, it's really important that you have somebody that knows how to do your job in case there's a change or you're not able to do that. So at the end of 6 or 8 months of really working hard for all of our directors to have succession plans, Denise came to me and she asked me if I would be willing to take on the vice president role and train for CEO. So that felt a little surreal. I was very privileged and honored to be asked to do that, and then to step in and really train with Denise for the past 2.5 years. You know, she's been my mentor. She has trained me. She's taught me. She's really given me a lot of tools to continue this and to be successful in our job. In my job, we have a great team. Our directors, our staff from top to bottom are just A1 staff.
And so, it's amazing that she has had the confidence in you and felt that you could do her job that she did here.
Yeah, she's been with us. She was with us almost 27 years, and so there's no way that those shoes can be filled. But, my goal was really just to step up and continue what she's built and just to be here for the community. So before that, I came back here about 5 years ago. So Denise had called me, and I knew her, and she had called and said, hey, we're growing and we need a social worker, someone to come in and supervise the social workers, really supervise the chaplains. So my background is I have my degree and I am a social worker. So when I came back, there were 5 social workers and chaplains, and so I was able to step into that role and just supervise. During that time, I learned so much about the Pickering House and really what Fairhope did and just all the ins and outs of all the regulations and things like that. So in about 6 months after that, they asked me to take on our grief and bereavement team. So I welcomed them to my supervision. And, after that, they asked me to join the leadership team. And so that was a privilege and really had a hand in just continuing to see how things worked.
And the background of a social worker is so important because you're dealing with all these people and our staff and the patients and their families, and just being there for support to them, and having that social work background of navigating family issues and everything that comes into play when you're on this journey.
It really is, because you see, if you look at all of the directors that we have, every single person's background plays a huge part in making this work. And so my social work skills and just my experience with the community and other jobs that I've held really have kind of put me in a good position for this, I feel.
That's good.
The really interesting part, Kim, is that about 20 plus years ago, when I graduated from college, I'm from Lancaster. This is my community. My family still lives there, born and raised. I went to school here. So I went off to college and I played some basketball at a college, Wright State University. And when I came back, I was hired by Fairhope. So we had a little office down off Main Street, and we had about 30 patients, volunteers maybe 30. So when I stepped in, I worked as a social worker, as our bereavement coordinator, and then also I helped train the volunteers. So what's interesting is, and if Rick's watching, I want you to think about this, Rick, that I was able to train him as a volunteer. So, you know, Rick has been here with us for a lot of years in a lot of different roles, and so, but it was just really special that I trained him as a volunteer many years ago. So that's something we kind of joke about, is that now I ended up being his boss during the time. And then also Twyla, who's our current volunteer coordinator, she was a part of the volunteer, team then. So it's kind of come full circle. I was with Hospice at that time for about 6 years and learned so much. And then I kind of moved on and gathered some other experiences. I worked in the school system and worked in some facilities and raised a family. And so I was just able to really gather a lot of information. But when Denise called me 5 years ago and asked me to come back, I thought, okay, there's a reason for this. There's a bigger picture why I would be called back and to be here with Fairhope, and it's just really come full circle, and I'm so thankful and just very fortunate to be a part of this.
And it's so neat how your life evolves, and it's like you're here for a reason, and you feel like things happen. It's like I call them stepping stones of life, and you have to walk those stepping stones to get to where you are today. So
absolutely.
It's pretty amazing.
We have some really, we have a few changes too as we look at the staff that are around me, and I'm so supported by our medical directors and our physicians. And so we have a new clinical director. Her name is Mary Scott, and she's been with Fairhope actually 13 years. So she has a wealth of information. She's worked hard. She knows the ins and outs of patient care. And so we're very pleased to have her on our team.
And that's what's amazing about our staff, is our staff has longevity here.
They do.
When people come to work at Fairhope, they stay.
They do. And I think, and they stay for the right reasons.
And the continuity of care is amazing.
Yeah. The things that we do and the care that we provide to our families and the community, that's why our staff stay, and we're very thankful for that.
Yeah, it's we pride ourselves in our staff. I mean, there are angels among us taking care of the patients. It's
Absolutely.
And the families.
Absolutely. We also have Letha Whitney. She has been our quality director of quality for many years. And so she has recently been asked to step up as acting vice president to give me some support and to kind of help with things as we move forward and just kind of figure out, the next steps. And so I've been very thankful to have her
she brings
by my
a
side.
Lot of good qualities in that position as well.
Yeah, she sure does.
And our team is, we have a whole team of staff, the social workers, the chaplains, and grief team.
We do. So Fairhope offers really a holistic care. We've got from the medical directors to our nurses, our staff, our managers, our nurses that go into the homes and assisted livings, our Pickering House staff. We have got our STNAs, our aides, that really provide great care in the home. They are our eyes and ears, and so we value them so much. We have social workers and chaplains that also go out, because a lot of times when someone is facing the end of life, there are a lot of things. Maybe they're not exactly pain issues or physical pain, but sometimes there's a lot of things attached at end of life.
Spiritual pain, where they need to get things right with their families and their loved ones.
Yep, that's for sure. And so we have a great team for that. We have our bereavement team is just above the best.
Yes.
They really support our families. So after, when a patient has passed away and a family is grieving, then our bereavement team will follow those families for 13 months. They're going to call them. They're going to send cards. We have support groups.
All the firsts
that are hard. Yeah.
So it's just amazing, the team, the support that goes to a family when they come on our service. And of course, our medical directors follow them, and then the physicians that the patient was seeing previous to their hospice care, we can report back to that physician too to let them know how they're doing.
Sure, absolutely. And a lot of times, I mean, the primary care physicians have really been these patients are special to them. Sometimes they've seen them for, years and years. And so they always have that option to continue the care, to continue to follow them while they're on hospice care. If they feel like they would like to defer to our medical directors, then that's okay too. We want to recognize that sometimes these decisions are difficult for physicians also. And sometimes they just prefer that with our expertise that we step in and give them a hand, and that's fine.
Yes. And I know working with the community and educating the community, we go into all the facilities and educate the staff in the facility so they know what our staff is going to do. And we had a meeting with a facility recently, and it was just amazing that our entire team that services that facility was there. And that way they know that we are there for support to their staff in addition to caring for the patient. Then our staff can come in and take care of them as well. So It's amazing our partnerships we have in the community with all the facilities and the physician offices. Yeah,
it really is. And as you know, your team, your community education team, you guys are always busy.
Yes.
You're running to every place, every facility, every option you have to go out and educate, you guys are doing, and we're very thankful for that.
Yeah, we go all the nursing homes and all the assisted living, senior centers, and just wanting to just let folks know the care that we can provide in folks' time of need.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you've been watching Fairfield Today at Fairhope Hospice, and our information is 740-654-7077. If you would have any questions, you can call that number and get a live person. It's amazing. No voicemails or recordings here. And our website is fairhopehospice.org, and our toll-free number is 800-994-7077. And we'll be with you again here real soon. Thank you.
The moment that you're told that you have cancer, so many things were going through my mind.
I had this pain that kind of doubled over, and FMC got me the help that I needed, so I ended up surviving.
Fairfield Medical Center has helped me get through what was the hardest 6 months of my life.
When I first came to Fairfield Medical Center, she was probably having an allergic reaction. They saved her life, and that's why she's here today.
Dagger Law has been part of the Lancaster community for more than 110 years. This is where we live and work. You'll see us at festivals, sporting events, and all around town. We consider our clients as friends, and we walk alongside you through challenging times. Whether you're a growing business, a changing family, facing litigation, planning your future, or dealing with land issues, we're right here. We are local. We are trusted. We are experienced. Dagger Law.
Fairfield Federal. When it comes to our customers and our community, we go above and beyond to help. Our people make the difference.
We were retiring from Tucson, Arizona, and we made a retirement trip out around Ohio, having decided that's where we wanted to be. And we came across this town called Lancaster, and we fell in love with the downtown area where the fountain is and the memorials and the flags and all this stuff. And we looked around and I said, there's our bank right there.
There's something to be said about a community bank in your hometown.
Right. If you live in the community, you should do business in the community as much as possible. So it makes sense to bank with the community bank where you live. Fairfield
Federal is the bank to be at. If you live in this town, or any town actually, you want to bank at a local home bank. And the employees are happy here, they're conversant, customer service is through the roof. There's nothing more you could ask for.
Personal or business banking, whatever you need, we take it seriously because we know you do. Stop by today at any of our 3 locations and see why the difference is clear. Fairfield Federal Savings and Loan specializes in banking that revolves around you.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
The Frankie Smith Funeral Home and Crematory in Lancaster and the Johnson Smith Funeral Home in Baltimore have a long and wonderful history of serving our community. Feel free to give us a call at 740-653-0652. Stop in and see us at either of our 2 locations, 405 North Columbus Street in Lancaster and 207 South Main Street in Baltimore. Respect for tradition, regard for change.
Welcome back to Fairfield Today at Fairhope Hospice. My name is Kim Shook, Community Education Coordinator here at Fairhope Hospice and Palliative Care, and I've been talking with Kristin Glazier, our new CEO, and we've been discussing about how you are going to move forward with your new role and the experiences that you bring in being our CEO. So tell us about how you got your start in social work.
Okay. Well, that's interesting. And many, many years ago, I knew my parents worked very hard. My dad worked at anchor hawking for many, many years, very difficult job. And, there were times when he had to work a couple of jobs because just to make sure that his children, the 4 of us, got the education that we needed because he just felt that was really, really important. So through that and the opportunities that I had at my high school to kind of serve the community, that really made me feel like that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to give back. My mom is a nurse, and so she worked at a nursing facility on the weekends, and many, many times I can remember us jumping in the car and heading over to the facility with her and just really getting a feel for what it felt like to take care of people, to make people happy, and just really pay attention to what people needed. So I knew from a pretty young age that I wanted my role to be somewhere as a social worker that I could take care of folks and just really help people through, their day-to-day issues.
And meeting them where they are.
Yep.
and helping them.
Yeah.
Giving them the care that they need and support as a social worker does.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's just been very important throughout my entire career. I feel like I do that, in the office, out of the office, and it's just really important to give back to the community. And so, I feel like that's really what's led me back here is to my social work roots and now moving forward with our Fairhope families.
And you can put all that experience into this new role. That's amazing.
Yep, absolutely.
And you also work with our palliative care team.
I do. I don't think, I think sometimes people, they know about Fairhope Hospice, but I think sometimes they're not always well versed on what our palliative team is. So palliative is a service that we provide here for patients who have a chronic illness. Now that illness we know eventually will take their lives, but maybe they're not quite ready physically or emotionally for hospice. And so what we do is the physicians in town, the physicians at the hospital, they work with our nurse practitioners, and we have 4, and we're nurse practitioner driven. And so they're going to make referrals here to our office where they're going to work with the nurse practitioners to really have us step in and help those families prepare for what's coming. We want them to, oftentimes when someone has a chronic illness, there's multiple physicians that they see. They have treatments. They have 4 or 5 doctors that are all managing, and that gets to be so much. So what we offer is that we offer our nurse practitioners and our palliative staff to support the families in that move and in that care. Lots of times you're going to see those palliative patients, they end up at the hospital multiple times just because then the nature of their illness is difficult to manage.
Frequently readmittances to the hospital, getting their symptoms under control, and then going back home.
Right. So what Palliative's goal is we have a wonderful relationship with Fairfield Medical Center, and they have been completely supportive of us, and really it's a great team effort together because we work with their physicians, they work with our providers, and we will go in and explain services and really provide that care to those patients. Maybe they're never ready for hospice, and that's okay. maybe they will be, and that way they have that continuity. They've seen their nurse practitioners. They're familiar with with Fairhope and our discussions, and so our goal would always be to get them to have a good quality of life and to be comfortable. So that's really what our palliative program is.
And our other staff is part of that team as well,
Right.
with our social workers,
Right.
if needed, our chaplains.
So we also utilize our social workers and our chaplains, and then also we've just started offering volunteers to our palliative patients. The really nice thing that we've just started here is that our nurse practitioners are on call 24/7. So if we have a palliative patient on our service and it's the middle of the night and really something's changed with them or they have a question, they're not sure, our nurse practitioners will give them a call. Because our goal is we want them to be able to stay home and manage their illness at home. And so that's really our primary goal. So that's been kind of something new in the past 6 months, is that availability for those nurse practitioners 24/7. It's going really well.
And how often do they make a visit?
Oftentimes it could be one time a month, once every 2 months, once every 3 months, and sometimes it's going to be weekly because you have someone that's really kind of in a flux and they're not quite at the point we need them to be so that they can maintain.
And we report back to their physician
Yeah,
on the
so-
care that what we've observed, and they've checked their meds and their vitals when they make a
Yep,
visit.
they do all that. And what's really nice about the palliative program is that the physicians in the community have the opportunity to continue to manage their patient, or we can help them with that. We can help co-manage and really just give them some guidance. Again, the physicians have so much that they have to do, but our nurse practitioners, their expertise is palliative and hospice. And so I think the physicians in the community have been very welcoming and very thankful that we can provide that support.
It's a comfort, really, because especially if there's someone living in the home alone type situation, that's just an extra comfort that family's going to have, knowing that somebody is going in and checking on them.
Right.
And the physician.
Yeah.
So it's
We can also see patients for palliative, anywhere. Nursing facilities, assisted livings, group homes, their homes.
It's just an extra set of eyes, and
Yeah.
it's just a comfort for everyone involved, knowing that our staff is on board to
Yeah, it really is.
check on them.
Yeah,
And we encourage them to stay in their home wherever that may be.
absolutely.
Yeah.
It's important.
So our contact information is 740-654-7077. If you have any questions or curious about our care that we could provide, if you have someone that might need our attention for their hospice and palliative care needs. And our website is fairhopehospice.org, and our toll-free number is 800-994-7077.
Kim, that reminds me of something I wanted to touch on. Sometimes we can take a referral for hospice and from anyone, really. And sometimes making that first phone call is always the hardest. And we don't want you, after you make that phone call, to really have to figure out what you do next. So if you feel like, or if the physician has talked with you about it and you feel ready, or you just want to have a discussion about what hospice can do and what it means, all you have to do is call one of these numbers that Kim has provided for you today and let us do the work. We have an amazing intake team, and they're going to reach out to the physician. They're going to get the information they need. It's just really hard to make that first call, and so we want to take that burden from you for having to do any other work that's attached to that.
And it really, the team support that you get from Fairhope Hospice, our care, is right from that first phone call. So it's pretty amazing. And then, of course, the Pickering House, that's where we're broadcasting from today, is just a beautiful facility. It's a gem in our community. I don't think the people in the community realize what we have here at 282 Sells Road, but it is just, I believe, sacred ground. It's amazing.
It sure is. We're looking out the windows here today, and it's just beautiful.
I believe it's a cardinal sanctuary. They're everywhere, and the deer are just amazing. They just seem to appear right at the right time.
They do.
It's almost we have pet therapy. It's almost like we have a natural pet sanctuary out here. It's just beautiful. So we have a lot going on in the coming months things. So, and our veterans, we want to talk about our veterans program.
Sure.
That's pretty near and dear to your heart,
It is. So Actually, one of the first days that I started here 5 years ago, Denise said, hey, we've just started this program. It's with the We Honor Veterans. It's a national program, and it is just what it says. You know, we honor veterans at the end of life. Many of them have never been thanked. They've never been recognized for their service. And so we started that. The ball was rolling, and then we kind of picked up speed. Right before COVID, we had been doing this service for families and for military and for veterans. And really what it means is if that family or if that patient would like to be recognized, I mean, we kind of explain to them, then we absolutely will recognize them wherever they are. And really what that means is somebody who is a presenter, we kind of offer a proclamation to them and thanking them for their service. We pin them with a flag pin. We pin them with their branch pin. And we gather the troops, you know, literally. Our volunteers, if we're in the home. What was really neat that we were doing before COVID started was we were able to make a phone call to our volunteers and say, we have a pinning at 2 o'clock at this address, and boy, did they show up in droves.
That's amazing.
And it's really something that's hard to explain, that's hard to put words to. When you experience a pinning for someone who is at the end of their life, they've never been thanked. It's just really a special time. And so we've just opened that back up, and I'm really looking forward to moving with those. Yes,
I know it's amazing the patients. They've been pretty well unresponsive or whatever, and when we come in and do that, they just really perks them up, and they've tried to salute. It's just amazing.
I know it is.
It's just really it's a nice ceremony. And we are doing something new that we're offering too, is the Flight to Remember.
Right. So Flight to Remember is sort of a bucket list for our patients. We've been blessed to coordinate with an agency that will, once we gather information from a patient, maybe they have family out of state or in another country, and they would just like that one chance to kind of see the land where they grew up. So we've been able to partner with them, and they schedule a drone to fly over that particular area, and then they send that footage back to the patient, and that has been really very special for them.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to more of those in the coming days. I know we have some in the works, and I'm sure we'll be sharing that information and maybe having that on our Facebook page. So anyone out there watching it, please go and like our Facebook page. It's very interactive. We have a staff that we interview every week. Typically on Thursday mornings, we do Facebook Lives. So it's between the Facebook Lives and our radio program that we offer, and then our TV program that you're watching today. So we just really appreciate you for watching, and I'm just so thrilled to have you as our new CEO, and looking forward to our continued working with you in this new role, and seeing some great things to come with our staff. And
absolutely. It's just really an honor and a privilege to be here and to continue to carry on Fairhope's great name.
Yes, and if you think of hospice care, think of Fairhope. We are the hometown hospice here in Fairfield County, and you've been watching Fairfield Today at Fairhope Hospice, and Kristin Glazier, our CEO, and I'm Kim Shook, Community Education Coordinator, and Celebrate Life.
Interphase Video presents Fairfield Today. Brought to you by Fairfield Federal Savings and Loan, Fairfield Medical Center, Fairhope Hospice and Palliative Care, the Fairfield County Board of Developmental Disabilities, Dagger Law, and the Frank E. Smith Funeral Home.